Hello and welcome to my next review of the Darkmoon Faire cards, and we're continuing with the Druid class. So, looking at each of these cards to see how good I think they are. Not going to do some sort of star review, just initial thoughts and where I think that they might be able to fit. So we begin with guess the weight. 2 mana, draw a card, guess if your next card costs more or less to draw it. I really like the flavor of this card. Really cool. Sometimes 2 mana draw 2, but I think that you're playing other cards like Breath of Dreams with some dragons instead. I'm not entirely convinced that you'd be want to playing this in your deck. Probably going to be discovering it somewhere. Now, the Lunar Eclipse. Deal 3 damage to a minion. Your next spell this turn costs 2 less. So, this basically is free if you're planning to play another spell in the same turn. Free 3 damage to the minion. Could also work quite well with Kael'thas, which I think that we might see a bit more. Also, of course, Mount Cellar. Exotic Mount Cellar Druids still has a potential to coming back. Next card, Solar Eclipse. Your next spell this turn casts twice. I love that there's like kind of twinned cards here. Solar Eclipse, your next spell this turn casts twice. Obviously works very well with the Lunar Eclipse. This now deals 6 damage to a minion, and the spell after that costs 4 less. So, possible shenanigans happening here. Also, combos such as Swipe and Starfall do very well if there's some way of getting Malygos on the board with a double swipe with the Solar Eclipse. Seems like it could be quite good. In fact, I think you could even get some more damage with the Solar Eclipse. If you play Solar Eclipse plus a swipe, if you have a Malygos on board, for example with Forest Guardian Omu, then you're dealing 9 damage, and then this is going to make it count twice, so that's 18 damage, and you still have mana left for another swipe, so that becomes 27 damage, and you've probably got a Moonfire there somewhere too. A lot of damage can happen with Solar Eclipse. Next card, Fairy Arborist. Choose one, draw a card, or summon a 2/2 Treant. Corrupt, do both. 3 mana 2/2 stats. Nothing to write home about. But if you can corrupt this and it becomes a 4/4 split across 2 bodies, and you also draw a card, that could be quite good. What kind of deck are you playing this in? Probably some sort of Token Druid, and if you're playing Token Druid, then I think you might even play it as a summon a 2/2 Treant, and the versatility is quite nice. I'm not sure how many cards you have that cost more than this to trigger the corrupt effect, but we'll see when we get around to theory crafting and so on. Next card, Moon Touched Amulet. 3 costs. Here says give your hero +4 attack this turn, corrupt, and gain 6 armor. So back in Whispers of the Old Gods, which is being harkened back here, especially with this card. I mean, not as especially as and opaquely like the Old Gods themselves, but there was a card called Feral Rage, which was seen pretty much everywhere. And in that card, you could either choose to get +4 attack or 8 armor. It was one or the other. And you usually got 8 armor because you didn't have very much healing or armor gain, so you just wanted to stall for later turns. But here, you're forced to get the attack first of all, and you get 6 armor if you play a more expensive card. I think that in any other class this might not be as good, but because it's Druid, because they like to play expensive cards, this is probably going to trigger. You're probably going to get +4 attack and +6 armor, and that seems like a good value for a card. So I quite like it. Next card, Kiri, Choosing of a Loon. Battlecry, add a Solar Eclipse and a Lunar Eclipse to your hand. So this is the sort of card that you might want to play if you're not playing Lunar or Solar by themselves. Gives you more potential for the cards you're putting in your deck. You only have 30 cards. If you're getting Lunar and Solar Eclipse off of this card, then you don't need to put them in your deck. Or maybe you do. Maybe you want a lot of these spells. but this gives some more flexibility for the cards you can put in your deck. Good value generation. Not very good stats, but it's giving you the cards for later. Next card is Grebo. 5 mana 4/6 taunt, Death Rattle, give a random friendly minion Death Rattle, summon Grebo. So, where are you playing this card? The potential of playing this card in some sort of token druid where you've always got something on the board. If you're playing a more expensive build where you've maybe got like 1 or 2 minions on the board at any given time, like guardian animals for like the first several turns, you're not wanting to play this on an empty board because it's not getting its full effect. It has got a good stat line, however. The place I think you're going to see this the most is through Jandis Barov, the Rogue Mage dual class card that summons 2 5-cost minions. And this is going to be a nightmare to deal with. You're going to have a polymorph effect or perhaps steal it if you're a priest. I think that's where it's going to be good. Speaking of good, the Umbral Owl, 7 mana 4/4 rush, costs 1 less for each spell you've cast this game. You play a lot of spells as a druid. Back when Yogg Druid was a deck, you always played a Arcane Giant because you'd get some free mana 8/8s. Oh no, sorry, 0 mana 8/8s. I said free. And that was just good enough to play. This is also very nice. 7 spells, that's not very much to play. Even if you're playing 4 or 5 spells before you drop this down, that's still quite nice. For 2 or 3 mana, you're getting a 4/4 rush. I think it has a good potential, and it's definitely going to be very cheap. Mana reduction on cards is always very good, especially when it's about the cost. Here. Doesn't have to be in your hand either. Next card. Cenarian Ward, 8 mana, gain 8 armor, summon a random 8-cost minion. So here's an example of a card that is insane with Solar Eclipse. Imagine on turn 10 you play Solar Eclipse plus Cenarian Ward. You get 16 armor and 2 8-cost minions. Insane board swing. Obviously it's not going to happen as often, but say you're playing a Kael'thas Druid and you're playing this seems like a pretty nice payoff for a 1 mana spell. And if you're playing with Lunar Eclipse and you also get to deal 3 damage to a minion, that also seems alright. So I think that we're going to see this a lot as well, but when it's cheaper, not when it's at the full 8 cost. Next card, Fizzy Elemental, 9 mana 10/10, Rush Taunt. Obviously, it looks like it's power creep from other cards, but it's a class card, so it's fine. Very nice stat line, very nice effect. The place where I think that this has the most potential of being seen is in a deck that plays N'Zoth, which summons 1 card of each type that died this game. So if you're getting a Fizzy Elemental back, you're also getting some tempo, be able to trade a minion off, which seems very nice. So that's my review of the Druid cards. Potential for maybe Token Druid, some sort of a combo Druid with Malygos, or a Kael'thas Druid, Mount Seller Druid. Lots of potential here for Theocrafting, and I look forward to seeing you in the next review, which will be Hunter.